Hey, welcome back to the Side Goggle and Jack channel. In a prior video, I talked about doing a year-long project using these two products from Bullet Journal. This is a standard A5, and this is a half of an A5. And it's meant to be used in this orientation. So I'm going to use these two to do a year-long project, and I promised that I would take you guys along for the ride. I'm going to go through this Handbook for New Stoics by Massimo Pigliucci. This is also co-authored by Gregory Lopez. I should give him credit too. And we'll go through it, and once a month I will do an update video to show you how it's going along. I'm doing this for me, but I thought I would share the journey with you. But I am a big fan of Massimo Pigliucci. Read a few of his books, and I really just connect with his writing. So we will go through this today, and we will set this up, and I'll give you some background about what Stoicism is and what it's all about and why I'm kind of drawn to it. And that's it. Let's get into it. Okay, before we talk about this, let's talk about this. So if you've heard of Stoicism, you probably heard about it from this. This is The Daily Stoic by Ryan Holiday. And this is the type of book you would leave on your desk and read in meditation every morning. And it's really good. I don't know how I have ended up with two copies. I think I had one on my office desk, and I may have had one at home, or one of these may be my wife's. I don't know. I've had three of these. I've given one away to a friend. So Ryan Holiday, I've bought three of the same books. So this is more of pop Stoicism, I guess. It doesn't really go deep into it, but it does give you some, daily meditations where you can read a little bit and then think about it, how it might apply to your life. Ryan Holiday has written several books, and they're all very good. They're more narratives about how other people have overcome adversity and how some of them have used Stoic principles to do that. So you're probably familiar with this, but you may not be familiar with this. And this is a little book written by James Bond Stockdale. And he was a fighter pilot that was shot down in Vietnam and held prisoner for maybe a couple of years. And at the time, he was the highest ranking naval officer being held prisoner. And he was tortured numerous times, put in leg irons, kept in very inhumane conditions. And he survived that by reflecting on his study of Stoicism, and in particular, Epictetus. So Epictetus was a slave during Roman times, and he was born in like the year 50, so a long, long time ago. And he was born into slavery, and he had a very cruel master who tortured him, and tortured him so much that he permanently damaged his leg, so he suffered from that the rest of his life. He later escaped or was exiled or somehow gained his freedom and became a very well-known philosopher. He was the student of a philosopher named Rufus, but his teachings went on to inspire Marcus Aurelius. So a lot of Marcus Aurelius, who was at the time the most powerful person on the planet, he was a Caesar and a philosopher, took some of his philosophy from a slave, from Epictetus, from the teachings of Epictetus. That's just how powerful his teachings were, that they inspired the most powerful man on the planet at the time. And another Stoic philosopher that I'm fond of reading is Seneca, and especially this book, Letters to a Stoic. And here's Seneca, who was a senator and a very, very wealthy man, and a tutor of somebody. I can't remember right now. Anyway, he is writing letters to, I think, his nephew or some relative, and these are the letters, and each letter has kind of a Stoic lesson built into it. Of course, you could read some modern Stoic authors. This is a good book by George Bradley. Here's a good one by William Irvine, Guide to a Good Life. Of course, Massimo Pigliucci. These are really enjoyable to read. And I think that's it. All right, enough about that. Okay, all of that to get us to here. So a lot of this book is also based on Epictetus. So let's get into it. Okay, how to use this book. The book you're holding is designed so that you can practice a modern Stoic exercise pulled from an ancient source every week for an entire year. We've divided it into 52 chapters, grouped into 3 parts, and those 3 parts are based on Stoicism's basic tenets that can be divided into 3 major topics: living according to nature, a 3-disciplined practice, and the dichotomy of control. So here's an example of 1 week's exercise. So there's a reading to begin with to kind of get you grounded and explain what you're going to be doing. And then there's an explanation of what to do. And then there is a very easy to follow format for taking this out into the world. And I'm going to take this out into the world in this little notebook that Bullet Journal sent me. And this is that kind of a half of an A5. So I'll have, a whole sheet here that I can use to take notes and take my exercise out into the world. And then I can come back and reflect on it in my bullet journal. Okay, so my challenge now is how to document that into a bullet journal. Let's see if we can figure it out. This bullet journal is really nice. It's got marked off where 1/3 of a page is here. So that's going to make it really easy to set up my future log. So I'll do that now. Okay, I think that should get me started. I did a future log, and then I've started with my first 4 weeks, and I'll fill in the rest of this later. I won't bore you with it, but this is the topic of each week's exercise. And then I'll do that for the whole year. And then I'll just set up week 1, and I'll come back and reflect on my exercises here. And I will take this little bullet journal, and that is where I will take my exercises out into the world and capture my notes and then bring them back here. And this won't turn into a philosophy channel. It's still going to be an everyday carry channel, or that's my intention anyway. But I think that this would be a good everyday carry practice for me anyway. And I'm going to give it a shot, and I will take you along for the ride. So join for more videos, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.
This is a 52-week lesson plan. This is